Hi, Group here again, and I've got a few more things I'd like to say about the whole vaccine controversy. Mainly, I'd like to address what are, frankly, the two most despicable arguments that parents make for not getting their kids vaccinated. First of all, the claim that there's no need for my children to get vaccinated if other people's children are vaccinated. And I'd rather my kid get measles than autism because autism has no cure. Yeah. Now, it's going to take every ounce of my self-restraint to keep myself from flying into a violent rage over this, but I'm going to do my best to keep this civil. Now, first, I'd like to explain the importance of herd immunity. Now, as I've mentioned in my last video, vaccines don't always work for everyone. Now, don't misunderstand me, they are still by far the most effective proven method for preventing disease that we have. And yes, despite what people may have told you online, we do still need them despite cleaner environments and better living conditions. Vaccines still play a much huger role in this, as the outbreak in Disney World should have already proven. Now, it's precisely because vaccines don't work for everyone that herd immunity is important. Now, because vaccines don't work for everyone, and because some people are unable to receive them due to potential allergic reactions, and because some children just simply haven't gotten all their shots yet, it is vitally important for everyone in a community who can be vaccinated to be vaccinated, so that those unlucky souls have some protection by virtue of being surrounded by immunized people. Remember, all it takes is one unvaccinated person to potentially infect all of the unvaccinated people in an entire community. So parents who refuse to get their children vaccinated are not only risking their own children's lives, but lives of potentially dozens of other children. And while some of these diseases can be treated, the last time I checked, we haven't found a cure for death. So, something to think about there. And that, in turn, brings me to my next big point. The argument that because autism is presently incurable, and probably can never be uncured, I mean, how can you cure different brain developmental paths, but whatever, it's somehow worse for a kid to live with autism than to die of measles, or rubella, or rotavirus, or polio, chickenpox, hepatitis, and you know what, I'm just going to stop myself there. Now, I can't stress this enough, but autism is no disease, and there's even some debate over whether it should even be categorized as a disorder. And I personally feel rather well-ordered, but then again, I'm a high-functioning autistic, so I can't speak for low-functioning autistics for whom there are some genuine difficulties. But my point still stands. Autism is just an alternate path for the brain to develop. In fact, it's been theorized that autism was evolutionary advantageous during the prehistoric era, that autistic individuals were basically hardcore survival machines and described as the Rambos of the Stone Age. They were the most capable of surviving on their own in a solitary existence, and often became very talented at multiple tasks for that. In fact, autism was so advantageous back then that one could argue that all the difficulties and problems that come with autism now are just the result of us creating a society that values social skills over exceptional solitary survival skills. Now, of course, that doesn't change the fact that autism makes one able to lead what most would rather arbitrarily consider to be a normal life, but that doesn't mean it will be a worse life. There are advantages and disadvantages, same for any circumstances surrounding one's birth. And sure, raising an autistic child, especially a low-functioning one, is very difficult. But then again, since when was raising a child supposed to be easy? Autism doesn't mean worse, just as normal doesn't mean better. So, frankly, I have next to no patience for parents who'd rather risk their child's life than risk giving them autism, even if that's not what they're consciously doing. But if they were doing it consciously, that would put them only one step above Autism Speaks and their purported research in detecting autism in vitro, so presumably so that mothers can abort them ahead of time, before to prevent that. And that in itself is frankly just one step above forced eugenics. So I think it's time we put an end to this negative stigma towards autism and start acknowledging it as not worse, not better, just different. And instead of trying to cure it or prevent it, we should all be focusing all of our energy towards educating and aiding autistic people and their parents so that they can overcome the difficulties that they would face. Because frankly, even low-functioning autistics have been known to gradually open up to others with time. Because the wounds of autism, like most wounds, can be healed with time. Unlike death by disease, which is irreversible. But again, vaccines are what make those many deadly diseases preventable. Thank you.